Noise department.
He ordered a Black Betty.
Oh yeah,
off your little drink feature menu that we passed out, and of course, because
you passed out.
Yeah, we did not pass out at the Golden Tiki.
This is Thirst Trap, a beverage industry podcast, and I'm your host, Tracy Bradley.
You guys, I'm back, and I have Michael Cobb with me today. He's the owner of Bettie Page Rum and this amazing, amazing tiki bar called High Roller Tiki Lounge in Solvang, California. And me and
Where?
My bestie, Solvang. Is that where it is?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where I was this past weekend, right?
You were.
Yeah, I was.
You remember.
Yeah, I went on a road trip with my bestie this past weekend, and we visited Michael there, and he forgot that I told him I was coming. So everybody was surprised.
It's a great surprise. Fun weekend.
Well, thanks for saying it was a great surprise.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So much fun last weekend, but we can just jump right into whatever you want to talk about first. Do you want to talk about the rum? Do you want to talk about the bar? Do you want to talk about your events this week? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, man. Well, let's start with the bar. I guess that's where it all kind of starts.
Okay.
When we get to the bulk of it, which I think, Bettie Page Rum is the most interesting thing we're probably talking about the most. People.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll start with the bar. Because if it wasn't for that, there wouldn't be that. So, yeah, back in 2007, 2005, I left Disney, where I was working for almost 20 years. Went to the San Ynez Valley, helped run a winery for a few years, and then started making my own wine on the side. We opened a tasting room in 2007. It was called Sort This Out Cellars.
Sort this out.
Yes. Not sorted out, but sort this out.
Not sorted out, not sorted, or sort it.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yes. Nobody could sort it out in their heads.
Absolutely nobody. So we did that for a few years. I did, it was kind of a rockabilly vintage Vegas vibe tasting room with pinup models. Everybody that we know was on those labels back then.
Yeah, a few of my dear friends were on those labels.
Yeah, it's fun. We had Dana Deluxe, and now we have Bernie Dexter, Sabina Kelly. I mean, a lot of people in the scene. And we did that for a while, and then eventually we had this lounge in the back called the High Roller Lounge, and it was underutilized. And for about 3 or 4 years, I decided I wanted to make it into a tiki bar, but I just didn't do it. And then I finally did it, and it took over everything. So everybody wanted to be back there in that room. It's kind of a speakeasy vibe, and we ended up eventually moving. So, anyways, it turned into the High Roller Tiki Lounge, and we moved down the street 2019 ish, and then pandemic happened, so we built out during the pandemic. But
at least you kept busy.
So the place you went to is what it is now, and it's a fairly large space with music. We've always done live music, a lot of rockabilly bands, things like that, and so that's what we're doing now. High Roller Tiki Lounge is my main thing, and eventually, at some point, I started making wine for Elvira. I met her at Viva Las Vegas.
Fun.
By chance. She was in a booth next to me. She was really apologetic that everybody was coming into our booth to take pictures of her. And I was feeding her sodas throughout the day. It was like 105 degrees, and she was in full makeup and costume. And she came over afterwards and apologized and was, I said, oh, no, it's not a problem. And so we started talking. She asked me to make wine for her. So we did that, and it was a whole thing, national media, really fun project. And I got to spend a lot of time with her. And she's a wonderful, wonderful person. So witty and smart and incredible. She's just one of the good ones to work with.
That's amazing. And I'm glad that you say that, because how people always say don't meet your heroes or whatever. But I admire her very much. And I've never met her, but I loved her memoir.
Yeah.
I read that.
Nice.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I can't say enough good things about her. Eventually, the Bettie Page people got a wind of the Elvira thing and decided they found me at Viva Las Vegas as well and asked me if I would consider making wine for Bettie Page, who has passed away, but her estate and peeps get something out of it.
Okay.
And CMG Inc. is the licensee for that and licensor. And so after a little while, I started making Bettie Page wines, and had some fun with that. And not too soon after, I grabbed one of the guys at the winery. Well, let me go back a little bit. We always did tastings at Viva Las Vegas at the Orleans.
Mhm.
And I'd always be tasting my wine. We've been the wine of the event for the last 17 years, I think. And but right next to me was always Sailor Jerry.
Yeah,
And
always.
people get really excited about liquor, more than wine, or at least back then they did. Now everybody's aged a little bit. All of our
Now
peeps.
we're a little more refined.
That's right. It's gone from whiskey to wine. But I was always kind of like, I'm gonna get them someday. I'm not getting them. Let's be clear. But
no.
but I thought I could do something like that on a smaller scale. So I grabbed one of the guys at the winery. Neither of us had ever done any kind of distilling or blending of that. And I can tell you it was way harder than blending wine. But after about a year and a half, we came up with our formula, gave it to TTB. I got Citrus Distillers in Florida, where the sugar cane came from, to distill my product. And I would go out there, and it was actually one of the first times I got to visit the infamous, famous Maikai. We were making rum right down the street from where that was, so I got to go visit that.
Okay.
Yeah. They had since moved from Fort Lauderdale north, but so been doing that for about 8 years now, and and I just got an amazing new rep out in Las Vegas.
Did?
I did.
You did?
Yep. You never believe it.
Do tell. How amazing is she?
Her name's Tracy Bradley.
Never heard of her.
Yes. So Tracy is now.
Yes, I am,
Bettie
guys. I've got Bettie Page Rum under the umbrella.
Yeah.
And I hit the ground running this week, and it's been fun.
So we've been out here in Vegas. I actually moved to Vegas. It was going to be for 6 months. It ended up being for a year and a half, but just tried to get my brand going out here. Did a little bit of damage, but not too much. It's a rough business, rough town, rough industry. But Frankie's was kind enough to take it on right away. The Golden Tiki's been amazing. We have the Red Dwarf, so focused on all the tiki bars first, of course. And we do monthly event at the Golden Tiki, and it's a promo for the brand, and it's called Tiki-Tastic. It's the second Tuesday every month. We do burlesque, we do live music. Last night we had the Crown City Bombers. It's a great little rockabilly show. Mm-hmm. Get bands from all over. One of the things they like is that I bring in bands that don't usually play there, and it's a totally different night for them. So
I was pleasantly surprised to have apparently our dear friend Chris James on the tambourine last night.
Yes.
So Chris James will be happy that he got his shout out today.
Shout out to Chris James.
Shout out Chris James. We love you, Chris.
Yeah. I had breakfast with Kristen this morning, and also the mayor of Las Vegas, Eric Femmel.
Yeah, well, that's where he will say no. I don't know if you told him that, but he's always told me that I should run for mayor.
You should.
I really should, and I probably will at some point.
There you go. Solid plan.
I feel like that's what I'm going to do
Nice.
when I grow up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whenever that is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had breakfast at Lou's Diner today?
We did. That was my first time there, actually. And I
really?
Yeah, I know. I'd never been. I've wanted to go. I see our friends posting about it and all that. It's a great place.
Lou's Diner is the best, just diner breakfast in town. Just for a diner, you guys. I'm not talking brunch with bottle service and champagne and that mimosas. No.
Just your old school
diner. They
diner.
don't serve alcohol there. It's just a diner, but it's been there for what, 60 years?
It's 1969. That's what it said on the table. I met Morgan and Amy.
Then definitely
and,
not
the whole
60
crew.
years, but going on 55.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Good.
Old man talk and, that kind of thing.
Yeah. A lot of
man
that.
talk.
I'm sure that a lot of old man talk happens in Lou's Diner like every single day.
Yep.
Then you have the grouchy old men that sit at the counter.
Yeah.
And then you have the groups of grumpy old men that sit in the booths and tables. And
a lot of Las Vegas finest were stopping in for breakfast too.
Really?
The police officers.
Yeah,
a lot of pictures and shakings of hands. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
but,
they have. I don't.
There was a guy from Germany, and I think he's just trying.
Oh, okay.
trying
Well,
to
maybe
take
he just really wants to meet everybody and shake everybody's hand because he's busy.
About right.
But
Should have shook Eric's hand. I mean, Eric smells there. Are your ears ringing, Eric?
They should be ringing, Eric, because this is like episode 2 in a row that he was mentioned on this podcast. So, but I love Eric, and I never get to see him anymore because he works insane and weird shifts. And
it's working a lot. It's working.
Yes, but as am I.
We all are.
So yeah, we all are. So
yeah. In fact, tonight.
And yeah, as a matter of fact, tonight we're working later at the Triple Down in the Punk Rock Museum.
Yeah, we just started doing events there with Bettie Page Rum, and a little bit of punk rock, a little burlesque, some punk rock DJ music. It's just a good time. It's a gathering of friends and people that are into all that, and who isn't.
I don't. If they're not, then I don't know what to say to them.
Right.
Really,
just like-minded people that
yes.
hang out and have a good time, and it's a reason to go out and support a small brand, and get off your couch, watch Netflix later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to try some rum?
Yeah.
We could try some rum.
Okay.
You got a bottle over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and tell us about the bottle, because you changed the bottle recently, right?
Yeah. Well, so, everything has a story behind it, and, or it should.
Mm-hmm.
That comes from my Disney experience, maybe. Bettie Page was born in Nashville. So we went with a Tennessee bottle, which you usually see on whiskey. But during the pandemic, of course, glass was hard to find. All the Tennessee bottles were not available. So we went with this little stubby, more modern looking bottle, I guess you could say.
That's a big shot. What am I doing?
You're ready to go.
I guess. I don't know. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, yeah.
I haven't had that in a minute. That's really nice.
It's pretty smooth.
I love the spices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's got cinnamon, clove. It's got the Christmas spices going on. It's kind of like the mulled wine of rums. Cinnamon, clove. We put a little habanero in there, which you don't really taste, but it helps open up the palate.
I just like it because there's very little burn. There's not a lot of burn on the end. It's very smooth. That's
and we do, we have some recipes for this. Of course, like our one go-to is the Killer Betty, which is a painkiller made with Bettie Page rum, which is perfect for that because of all the spices. But a lot of people just like to drink it just straight on the rocks or straight up, or a little ginger beer or something. That seems to be the go-to.
Little dark and stormy action.
Yep.
So Lulu Roxy, one of my ride or dies, her husband Vic is visiting, and he went to the event last night, and he ordered a Black Betty.
Oh yeah,
off your little, that adorable drink feature menu that we passed out, but of course, because
you passed out.
Yeah, we did not pass out at the Golden Tiki. We gave out specialty menus to patrons.
In fact,
not patrons.
The Black
patrons.
Betty is actually on the main menu all the time, which is exciting for me because no other place has this on the main menu, I don't believe. So out here. So that's great.
But of course, because it was Lulu and I sitting there, she's like, he ordered a Black Betty, and she goes, "Whoa, Black Betty." And I said, "Ram-a-lam." And then it just became this whole conversation about that, because if you've ever been in a room with Lulu and I together, that's just how we are. Only she didn't give me the memo that she was wearing her Bettie Page dress last night from before it was Tatiana Boutique and it was Bettie Page clothing. Mm-hmm. I have the same exact dress, only mine's blue. And I'm like, well, if you would have given me the memo, we could have been matchy, but no, you had to hold out on me.
There you go. Let's talk about the label a little bit on this, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I want to give a shout out to our good friend, Mark Hollinger.
Oh, I love Mark Hollinger.
He's done a lot of work for me over the years with graphic design, photography. He shot most of the pinup models on my bottles, probably. Candace Campbell was one of his muses for years, and she's been on more bottles of mine than any amazing hairstylist out here.
Candace is one of my faves.
Yeah, she's amazing. Of course, I went to him when I started doing the rum project, and he came up with this idea, and it's a sepia style artwork with Betty. What Mark does is he takes I have access to thousands of Bettie Page images, and a lot of them people had never seen because they're nudes, and he put clothes on them. So He's great with Photoshop. So we can use him and people see it.
He
and they think,
dressed her.
yeah, they think they just took a head off and did something else. No, he does the whole thing. But yeah, he came up with this label and it's pretty cool. And he's an amazing.
He's very talented.
Yeah, he's very talented. I think back in the day, he was like photo editor for a major fashion magazine, I believe, and a bunch of other stuff going on. So yeah,
I don't know his whole backstory, but when I started going to Viva back in the year, I'm not even going to mention because it was a very long time ago. But yeah, that's when I met him.
Now he barely goes to Viva.
Now he barely goes. Well,
He's
I mean, I barely go to Viva. I haven't gone. I think I've been once since the pandemic, one time. Mm-hmm. And I think that was just the car show. And we had like full access passes and we only went to the car show.
Viva Las Vegas, the biggest rockabilly festival in the world. That's what we're talking about. If you don't know, Tom England puts it on. It's at the Orleans, where you can also find Bettie Page Rum.
Yes. Yes, you can. And lots of it.
Yeah.
Because is that our biggest event of the year?
I would say our monthly Golden Tiki events are bigger, but
okay.
But I mean, as far as fun, yeah.
Well, yes,
it's not as much business.
It's big
think,
fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. I'd probably go through more rum because I donate to every contest and everything. So it's in a lot of people's hands during that weekend for sure.
Yes, it is.
It depends on the year. Sometimes we do a lot more than we do other years, and it just depends on what's going on.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I think I'm good.
All right. Same. Well, I thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, this was fun. And I'll see you tonight.
Absolutely.
At the Punk Rock Museum. All right. Cheers.
I'm Tracy Bradley, and that's the Thirst Trap Podcast. Produced and edited by Gonzo Greg Spillane for Noise Department. Please like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your podcasts, and share with your friends and associates in the beverage industry or anybody who drinks things. You can always visit and contact me at thirsttrappodcast.com, and you can find links to all the socials there as well. Till next time, cheers.